Imagine a city so magnificent, so powerful, that even today, 2,600 years after its fall, we use its name as a symbol of ultimate wealth and splendor. A civilization that built structures so incredible, they were considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. But here's what haunts archaeologists and historians to this very day. This empire, which lasted nearly 2,000 years, which gave humanity the first written laws, the first mathematical systems, the first astronomical charts, vanished so completely from the face of the earth that for over a millennium, people thought it was just a myth from ancient texts. The Babylonian Empire, a name that strikes fear and wonder in equal measure. Today, we're going to uncover the truth about what really happened to this legendary civilization. And trust me, the reality is more shocking than any legend. The story of Babylon begins around 1894 BC, in the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in what we now call Iraq. Under King Hammurabi, who ruled from 1792 to 1750 BC, Babylon transformed from a small city-state into the capital of an empire. Hammurabi created the world's first comprehensive written law code, carved into a massive stone pillar that still exists today. These weren't simple laws. They covered everything from business contracts to property rights, from medical malpractice to building codes. The famous principle, an eye for an eye, comes from Hammurabi's code, though the actual laws were far more nuanced than that phrase suggests. But Babylon's genius wasn't just in law. They were mathematical pioneers who gave us the 60-minute hour and the 360-degree circle. Their astronomers could predict lunar eclipses with startling accuracy, creating star charts that wouldn't be surpassed for over 1,000 years. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, reportedly built by King Nebuchadnezzar II for his homesick wife, rose in green terraces to a height of 75 feet. Imagine, in the middle of a desert, a mountain of gardens, irrigated by an ingenious system of pumps that lifted water from the Euphrates River. The Ishtar Gate, covered in brilliant blue glazed bricks, decorated with golden lions, bulls, and dragons, stood as the grand entrance to the inner city. At its peak, under Nebuchadnezzar II, Babylon covered nearly 4,000 acres and housed over 200,000 people. Now, before we continue this incredible journey, let's test your knowledge. First question: what is Babylon most famously known for? Is it A, the Hanging Gardens, B, Hammurabi's Code of Laws, C, advanced astronomy and mathematics, or D, all of the above? Take a moment to think about it. The answer is D, all of the above. Babylon's legacy is incredibly diverse. While the Hanging Gardens captured imaginations for millennia as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, they were just one achievement among many. Hammurabi's code established principles of justice that influenced legal systems for thousands of years. With its 282 laws, it created concepts of presumption of innocence and the presentation of evidence. In mathematics and astronomy, Babylonians developed the base 60 number system we still use for measuring time and angles. They identified the zodiac constellations and tracked planetary movements with remarkable precision. So Babylon wasn't known for just one thing. It was a civilization that excelled in architecture, law, science, mathematics, astronomy, literature, and urban planning. Question number 2. Who is Babylon in the Bible today? This is a fascinating question that reveals much about how this ancient city was perceived. In biblical texts, particularly in the book of Revelation, Babylon became a powerful symbol representing human pride, corruption, and opposition to divine authority. The historical Babylon captured the Jewish people in what's known as the Babylonian captivity, when King Nebuchadnezzar II conquered Jerusalem in 586 BC and exiled thousands to Babylon. This traumatic event burned Babylon into Jewish consciousness as a place of exile and oppression. The Psalms capture this pain. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down and wept. In later Christian theology, especially in the book of Revelation, Babylon the Great became a metaphor for any society that places material wealth and power above spiritual values. So today, Babylon in the Bible represents not a specific place, but a timeless warning about the dangers of pride, excess, and oppression. It's a powerful reminder that even the greatest civilizations can fall when they soften moral compass. Now for our third and perhaps most intriguing question. Who actually destroyed Babylon? Was it A. Alexander the Great, B. the Persian king Cyrus, C. time and neglect, or D. a combination of conquerors?
The answer is actually D, a combination of conquerors. But the full story is far more complex than a simple military defeat. In 539 BC, the Persian king Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon. But here's the remarkable thing. He did it without destroying the city. According to the Cyrus Cylinder, an ancient clay document, Cyrus actually ordered the restoration of Babylon's temples and allowed the exiled peoples, including the Jews, to return home. The real decline came gradually. When Alexander the Great conquered Babylon in 331 BC, he planned to make it his capital and ordered the restoration of its great ziggurat. But Alexander died in Babylon in 323 BC at the age of just 32, and his successors moved the capital elsewhere, leaving Babylon to slowly fade. Over centuries, as power centers shifted, the great city's buildings were stripped for their materials, the irrigation systems fell into disrepair, and sand slowly buried what remained. Now we come to the heart of the mystery. How did one of humanity's greatest civilizations disappear so completely that it became legend? The extinction of Babylon wasn't caused by a single catastrophic event. It was death by 1,000 cuts, a gradual decline that teaches us profound lessons about how civilizations die. First came political instability. After Alexander's death, his empire was divided among his generals, and Babylon became a prize fought over by competing dynasties. The Seleucid Empire, which controlled Babylon after Alexander, founded a new capital called Seleucia, just 50 miles north. Suddenly, trade routes shifted, government officials relocated, the wealthy and educated moved to the new capital. Babylon began to hemorrhage its most vital resource, its people. Without the tax revenue and labor force, the city couldn't maintain its complex infrastructure. The irrigation canals that had made Mesopotamia fertile for millennia began to fail. As the canals dried, salt from underground began to poison the soil. Fields that had fed empires for 2,000 years turned to barren wasteland. The Parthian Empire, which conquered the region in the 2nd century BC, dealt another blow by redirecting the Euphrates River away from Babylon. Without water, Babylon's fate was sealed. The hanging gardens withered, the great temples stood empty, the magnificent palaces crumbled. By the time of Christ, just 300 years after Alexander's death, Babylon was already largely abandoned, home only to a small population living among the ruins. The Roman historian Strabo, writing around 10 CE, described Babylon as a desolation.
The Greek geographer Pausanias in the 2nd century CE wrote that not even ruins remain. For over a millennium, Babylon existed only in stories and scriptures. Many scholars believed it was pure mythology, like Atlantis or El Dorado. It wasn't until 1899 that German archaeologist Robert Koldewey began systematic excavations and proved that Babylon was real, discovering the foundations of the Ishtar Gate and the palaces. Even today, much of ancient Babylon remains buried beneath the desert sands of Iraq, its full glory still waiting to be revealed. So what can we learn from the extinction of Babylon, this civilization that seemed invincible? First, that no empire, no matter how powerful, is permanent. Pride and assumption of invincibility can blind us to necessary changes. Second, that infrastructure matters. When Babylon stopped maintaining its irrigation systems, environmental collapse followed inevitably. Third, that human capital is everything. When Babylon's educated class and skilled workers left, the city lost its ability to adapt and survive. And finally, that what seems permanent can vanish with surprising speed when systems fail. In just 3 centuries, the greatest city on Earth became a forgotten legend. The story of Babylon is ultimately about human achievement and human fragility, about how we build wonders and how those wonders can be lost. If you found this journey through time fascinating, this channel is dedicated to exploring the extinct wonders of our world, the animals, civilizations, technologies, and natural wonders that once existed but are now gone forever. Every week, we bring you deep dives into these lost worlds, uncovering the mysteries of what was, what happened, and what lessons we can learn for our future. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Join our community of history explorers and let's discover together what the past can teach us about our present and future. Thank you for watching, and remember, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of our lost world.